Okay, welcome back to 48 Ways to Wisdom, Rav Noach Weinberg's book here. We are at number 13, Yishuv, being deliberate. Now, in life, we have to make many decisions. All the time we're making decisions. Should we buy this? Should we make this purchase? Should we invest in this? Should we attend this event or not? Should I speak or not? Should I go this way or that way? We're always making constant decisions. And the question is how to make good decisions. Now, you have two factors here. You have the quality of the decision and you have the time of making a decision. Now, we don't want to spend lots of time making a decision on one hand. We want to just make a decision and go with it, and not, there's something called taking too much time to make a decision where you're just agonizing over a decision, going back and should I buy this car or this car, back and forth, read this review, and never ending. You can always find sources that say this one's better or this one's better. So sometimes you need to just finish it and just make the decision. On the other hand, which is probably more likely, is making a hasty decision and just saying, all right, I just need to do this quickly, so let's just go for it without really thinking something through. And we really need to always be thinking decisions through in life. So there's ways that we can train ourselves to make thoughtful, deliberate decisions where we really think the matter through. And as we get better at doing that, we can also improve our speed in making these decisions quickly, because we know that in life, sometimes you have to make quick decisions and sometimes you have a little more time to make other decisions. And sometimes, as we'll see, it is worth it to sleep on a decision and to take more time with it if it's a big decision, moving or switching jobs or, 1,001 other things. But, so you always have to weigh the how important is this decision. A very important decision might require more time and even more thought. But in any case, so be Yishuv means to be deliberate, to sit on things and think things through. Don't be hasty, slow down. Think and plan before you act. We want to make good decisions. So we learn that our sages, Hazal, teach us that one should review what he has learned 4 times in the Masechet Eruvin, since wisdom is to the soul as food is to the body. So 4 times we should review something. We should learn something 4 times at least. The process of learning 4 times can be likened to the fundamental steps of producing bread, which is the physical, which we need to live, to survive. So you've got the plowing, planting, harvesting, and eating steps of bread, okay? Plowing is taking in information, okay? Really, you take things over the first time, just kind of take it in. Planting is where you're really trying to understand that information, trying to really think pros and cons of what I'm doing. By the way, writing down a list of pros and cons of the decision can also be helpful. And keep ourselves objective and saying, okay, I'd like to do this, but I see that the list of cons is way outweighs the pros, and it's more my emotions telling me to do it. So let's see, then the planting phase, understanding the information, harvesting, digging deeper into the information, really asking questions, and let's see, asking your questions, really trying to sort through the information on a deeper level to really to find the truth. And then the eating phase, which is make your decision in an educated way. Make the decision. Once you've got the clarity to make the decision, you go for it and try not to look back. You bought something, don't go searching all the other stores to that same product to see if, there's a cheaper deal somewhere else. You did it, move on to the next decision. We have plenty of decisions in life, not to dwell on the last decision, okay? Some different tools for working on deliberation. Doing a nightly recap before you go to sleep at night. Look back and review the events from your day. Try to identify what lessons you can learn from. Don't just cruise aimlessly in life. I think we learned that a lot in this Sefer. Learn from each day. Be deliberate. Try to say, okay, this, and this happened today. Let me ponder that a little bit before closing off the day here. What can I learn from it? That's, living a thoughtful, mindful life that we can really grow from, is not just making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Oh, today I was late to davening every single tefillah. So maybe tomorrow I can leave like 5 minutes earlier and then I can not make the same mistake tomorrow, as an example, something like that. Let's see. Capture and concretize is the number 2 skill that we can learn to do. Sometimes we get these amazing ideas. We get a flash of inspiration and an amazing idea that just inspires us and makes us feel good. But then we just move on to the next thing, oh, but I got to eat lunch now, and then that idea went out the window. When you get a life-changing idea, maybe write it down, maybe take some time to think about it, to ask about it, to call someone that you could talk to about it, not just get the idea and ignore it, because then it's going to go out the window and it will never come to fruition. It will never be like concrete. So that's another tip. Thinking before speaking. We all know, as Melech Shlomo said, don't be quick with your mouth. Kohelet. Okay? Really have to be careful with what we think. And in our day and age, what we type, what we text, what we WhatsApp, what we email, words have tremendous power, as we've discussed previously in this book. And we need to think about what we say a good few times. Teach your mouth to say, I don't know. That's from Masechet Brachot, meaning nobody knows everything. And we need to admit that sometimes. We need to admit that we don't know everything. That's why we want to keep learning, because we don't know everything. So we need to be able to admit that sometimes that we don't know, not just because you're the expert in orthopedic surgery, that you know every single thing. And if someone asks you a question you don't know, you have to come up with an answer. And say, as a fitness trainer or coach, someone will ask me a question, how do I strengthen this? And honestly, I don't know the answer so well. And I know that because I've learned it for many years and worked in the field, if I read up on it, I could give a good answer. But at the moment, I don't have an answer. So really what I should say, and hopefully I do this, is say, you know what, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to get back to you. I've got some good people that I can talk to and some good books that I can use as reference, and I'll get back to you on that. And really, not just pretend that I know everything, So that is the best way. Let's see here. Okay, then analyzing information, because we are now bombarded with information these days. Hundreds of websites, hundreds of books, hundreds of, all this, a big problem today is information overload, where you just feel like so many. I've personally felt this when I'm trying to plan a trip, and you want to just go on a quick vacation, 2 days, but there's thousands of different places you can go, and there's like too many options, and it suddenly makes you feel like frozen, like, oh boy, there's so many options, like I'm never going to find the right thing to do, or you find a good thing to do, but then you regret it because there's always something better out there, so we have to get good at filtering information, because we just live in a time now of an overload of information, which has its advantages, but also sometimes disadvantages. So you have to learn how to sort through all the clutter. Okay, and so just the more we analyze things, the faster we'll get at it. We need to make decisions. We'll get better at making decisions faster. A tool that I recommend here is being prepared. Being prepared for everything in life. I once did a seminar on tefillah, on davening, and it said one of the take-home messages that I got from that whole week-long seminar was that the more you prepare in advance, the better, more effective your tefillah will be. If you just show up to mincha, even right on time or 30 seconds before the start of the tefillah, it's not so good. You should really get there early, start to get your kavanah right, start to get yourself in the right mindset, and really flow into the davening. So So same thing with studying for a test, same thing with preparing a lecture. You know, we all know the more you prepare for it, the better it will be because you'll do it with more confidence, you'll do it with more knowledge. Um, you worked harder for it, you'll do better usually. Okay, and give big decisions time. The expression "sleep on it." Sometimes you really need to. It's late at night and you have to make an important decision. It's better just give it another day. Don't make a hasty decision now at midnight. You know, get some sleep. Look at it with fresh eyes in the morning, and make a decision, especially an important decision. So, because over time, since we can get more clarity and more answers, we can ask others for advice. We can ask Hashem for help, and the clarity will eventually come. So, we should dive in. Oh yeah, to just expound on that point a little bit, we should ask Hashem for help and clarity making decisions because, as we said, there's so many decisions to make in life, and it's sometimes just so hard to know if we're making the right decision. So we should really dive in that we're making the right decisions. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, so just to recap, we need to make good decisions in life, ideally well thought out, but also quickly, carefully. Be careful, but and not too hasty. Careful not to be too hasty. Collect information and do a nightly recap to reflect on the day and see how you can learn from that day. Think before speaking, being prepared, taking time to ask questions, to daven, to practice, and sometimes to sleep on it when necessary. Okay, so that was number 13. We're moving on to 14 next week. Next class will be Mikra, written instructions for living. Thanks a lot.